I'd like to tell you about this game, and I'm not going to show how to play it yet because it actually needs a little bit more research. This is by a fellow named Nguyen Quí Hải. I'm not really sure how to pronounce Vietnamese, and it generally goes by the name Colenel. It's also known in English as Commander Chess. Now this chess variant is much more complicated than most chess variants. It's sort of based on Chinese chess with the pieces moving on the lines and from point to point. But the board is bigger, there's more types of pieces, and the sense of how pieces move, capture, how they interact, the goal of the game, everything is updated to be more like real on-the-ground military conflict, which the Vietnamese people have learned a lot about. Here is the booklet that comes with it. It's all in Vietnamese, so I can't go into it, but I can tell you that the creator of the game is here showing the game to a venerated army hero, military hero. It's very much involved with military. I think this is a military ID or certificate here. Dr. René Gralle is very involved in promoting chess variants throughout the world. This happens to be the Thai variant he's sitting in front of right now. But he's got his picture here because he's helping promote this game. I've been in correspondence with him, and even he, who has come to know these people rather personally, hasn't been able to tell me exactly what the rules of the game are. We're going to look into the evidence of that, but we're also going to look into the questions. So the game is described in detail here in Vietnamese with diagrams of the pieces, etc., etc., etc. Explanation of airspace for flying vehicles cannot cross without being shot down. Closes with a quote from Ho Chi Minh, leader of the North Vietnamese forces, now considered the Vietnamese forces. And lots of pictures of young and old military officers being interested in this game because, well, I'll read you what he says about that in a minute. So that's the basic booklet that comes. Now there's more information sent to me and downloaded from the internet with English translation. However, the English translation it's really difficult. It's hard enough to explain a complicated board game in your own language just using words to describe, two-dimensional or three-dimensional moves and powers. But to translate that into another language and actually get back to the physical reality of the game on the board is difficult, especially between two languages that are so different like English and Vietnamese. So although Colonel Hai has made a great effort to make this game available to the English-speaking public, it's really hard to understand from the translations. So I took notes throughout the translations, examined all the diagrams, kind of analyzed what each piece is that's being described. More notes, more notes, more notes. Airspace described. Some information about how the game is annotated, because that's important. It's going to be more important to us as we look at those annotations. His summary of the rules with each piece and description of its move. Even that is hard to cross-reference with his paragraph descriptions and with the reality of how this game would be played. At certain points, some things are obvious, but some things are confusing. Like for instance, here it says the commander moves in a vertical and diagonal direction, but then if you go to the other paragraphs, it says he just moves in the horizontal and vertical directions. So there's some contradictions, but a lot of just plain ambiguities because of the language. Now this is interesting. Dr. Gralle has an article actually in a German newspaper about this inventor and his game, and I got it translated here into English. And it's a human interest story about him and his military social circles that he circulates the game in. I actually wrote to Dr. Gralla and to Colonel Hay and asked them some specific questions. I think I had 11 specific questions. And I got these replies from Colonel Hay. And even some things were cleared up, but some things are not. So, you know, I would ask him what to me seems a simple question, and he would understand it in a different way and just go into detail about something else. So it's kind of tough. Here's my notes on, you know, just abstracting the information of each piece from the thing. I've extended the notes for future research, which I'm just about to do right now. And this is what I'm using for research. I've actually got packets here of sample games. I think this is going to be my best bet of actually seeing how the pieces move on the board, played actually in a game, and then the comments about what's going on in the game when that's happening. Once that's done, I think I'll be able to compile a rule booklet like I like to do. Very clear and concise. This is a sample. You know, I make these booklets about the different chess variants. Clear and concise, easy as possible for an American to pick up. But I just like to close with one comment here to show you what the idea of this game is and what brings it really into a realm beyond chess as we know it today. Okay, point 7 about this game. Philosophical meaning difference. Chinese chess and chess are king and throne protecting games with historical meaning belonging to the past. Nowadays, they are simply a mental game. Commander chess educates mindset of generations about the meaning of community protecting, country protecting. Through the game, young and potential commanders in the future can study the tactic to set up battle, organize full power battle, to win always in order to protect their sacred country territory. Commander chess is also a mental game, but having historical trace as well as current epoch breadth, which cultivates national defense mindset. So, a lofty and pertinent goal, and I'll get back to you with another video when I really think I understand how this game is played.